Do you ever feel trapped? Like you're stuck in an endless loop, unable to break free? You're constantly scrolling, clicking, and seeking the next hit of instant gratification. It's as if your fingers have a mind of their own, always reaching for that device. Social media notifications, online videos, and endless streams of content have become our daily distractions. Every ping, every alert pulls us deeper into the digital abyss. This constant barrage of stimuli keeps us hooked on a cycle of pleasure and craving. But at what cost? We find ourselves overwhelmed, surrounded by screens, unable to escape the noise. Our brains are wired to seek pleasure and avoid pain. This fundamental principle of human nature is being exploited by the digital world. In the digital age, pleasure is just a click away. A simple tap on the screen can release a flood of dopamine, making us feel momentarily satisfied. This easy access to instant gratification can be detrimental. It creates a dependency, a need for constant stimulation that leaves us feeling empty and unfulfilled. Pornography and excessive masturbation are particularly insidious. They hijack our natural reward systems, making it harder to find satisfaction in real-life relationships and experiences. We become slaves to the dopamine rush, sacrificing our long-term well-being for fleeting moments of pleasure. The more we indulge, the more we crave, and the cycle continues. This is not a sustainable way to live. We need to find balance, to step back and reassess our relationship with technology. It's time to break free from the cycle and reclaim control of our lives. We must take deliberate steps to disconnect and reconnect with the world around us. It's time to rewire our brains, detox from the digital overload, and unleash our true potential. By doing so, we can rediscover the joy of real-life interactions, the beauty of nature, and the satisfaction of achieving our goals without the constant need for digital validation. Every time we receive a notification, watch a captivating video, or engage in instant messaging, our brains release dopamine. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter associated with pleasure and reward. It's what makes us feel good, driving us to repeat behaviors that release it. Historically, dopamine release was linked to activities essential for survival, like eating or finding a mate. These activities ensured that we would continue to engage in behaviors that were beneficial for our survival and reproduction. In the past, the release of dopamine was a reward for actions that were crucial for our well-being. It was nature's way of encouraging us to do things that would help us thrive. However, in today's digital age, technology has hijacked this natural reward system. Our smartphones and computers have become the new dealers, providing us with endless hits of dopamine. Every time we receive a like on social media, a message from a friend or a new follower, our brain gets a little hit of dopamine. This constant stimulation creates a feedback loop, making us crave more and more. The more we engage with our devices, the more dopamine we release, and the more we want to continue engaging. This can lead to excessive use of technology and a constant search for instant gratification. This behavior can manifest in various ways, from endlessly scrolling through social media to binge-watching TV shows. The digital dopamine drip keeps us hooked, but it comes at a price. Our brains become accustomed to this constant stimulation, leading to desensitization. Over time, we need more and more dopamine to feel the same level of reward, which can lead to feelings of dissatisfaction and unfulfillment. This cycle can have a significant impact on our mental health and well-being. It can lead to anxiety, depression, and a decreased ability to focus and concentrate. It's important to be aware of how technology affects our brains and to take steps to manage our use of digital devices. By setting boundaries and taking breaks from screens, we can help to reset our brain's reward system and reduce our reliance on the digital dopamine drip. Pornography and excessive masturbation are particularly potent sources of dopamine. They can create a powerful feedback loop, making it difficult to break free from the cycle of instant gratification. Over time, this can lead to desensitization, where more extreme content is needed to achieve the same level of satisfaction. This can have serious implications for our mental and emotional health. The digital dopamine drip may be powerful, but with awareness and intention, we can break free from its grip and find a healthier balance in our lives. Remember, it's not about completely eliminating technology from our lives, but about using it in a way that enhances our well-being rather than detracts from it. By taking control of our digital habits, we can ensure that we are using technology in a way that supports our mental and emotional health. Let's strive for a balanced approach to technology use. one that allows us to enjoy the benefits of the digital world without falling victim to its potential pitfalls. Our brains were not designed for this level of constant stimulation. In the past, our ancestors lived in environments where stimuli were limited and often crucial for survival. They had to be alert to the sounds of predators, the sight of prey, and the changing seasons. Today, however, we are bombarded by a relentless stream of information and notifications that demand our immediate attention. The digital world bombards us with an overwhelming amount of information, from social media updates to news alerts, emails, and messages. This constant influx of data can be exhausting and overwhelming, leaving us feeling mentally drained and unable to focus on any one task for an extended period. Notifications and demands for our attention come at us from all directions. Each ping, buzz, and alert pulls us away from what we were doing, fragmenting our attention and making it difficult to concentrate. This constant interruption not only affects our productivity but also our mental well-being. This constant onslaught leads to overstimulation and desensitization. Our brains become so accustomed to the high levels of stimulation that we start to crave it, even when it's not beneficial for us. We find ourselves reaching for our phones out of habit, not because we need to, but because our brains have become wired to seek out that next hit of information. Think of it like this: if you consume explicit content frequently, your brain becomes accustomed to the intense stimulation. Initially, a small amount of such content might be enough to satisfy your craving. But over time, you need more and more to achieve the same level of satisfaction. Your brain adapts to the constant presence of explicit stimuli, and what once seemed exciting now seems mundane. This is because your sensory receptors have become desensitized to the stimulus, requiring a higher threshold to trigger the same response. Eventually, you need even more explicit content to experience the same level of satisfaction. This cycle of overconsumption and desensitization can lead to unhealthy habits and negative consequences for your mental and emotional health. The same principle applies to our brains and dopamine. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter that plays a key role in how we experience pleasure and reward. When we engage in activities that release dopamine, such as watching explicit content or engaging in masturbation, we feel a sense of satisfaction and pleasure. When we're constantly flooded with dopamine-inducing stimuli, our brains adapt by reducing dopamine receptors or becoming less responsive to dopamine. This means that the same activities that once brought us joy no longer have the same effect. Our brains adapt by reducing dopamine receptors or becoming less responsive to dopamine. This adaptation is a protective mechanism to prevent overstimulation, but it also means that we need more and more stimulation to achieve the same level of reward. This leads to a vicious cycle of needing more and more stimulation to achieve the same level of reward. We become trapped in a loop of seeking out increasingly intense stimuli, which can lead to feelings of boredom, frustration, and dissatisfaction when we don't get the dopamine hit we're used to. This desensitization has profound consequences for our well-being. It affects our ability to concentrate, regulate our emotions, and find joy in simpler things. We may find it harder to focus on tasks that require sustained attention, and our emotional responses may become blunted. It affects our ability to concentrate, regulate our emotions, and find joy in simpler things. We may struggle to enjoy activities that don't provide immediate gratification, and our overall sense of well-being can suffer as a result. It's time to break free from this cycle and reclaim our sensitivity. By reducing our exposure to constant stimuli and allowing our brains to reset, we can start to appreciate the simpler pleasures in life once again. Taking breaks from our devices, spending time in nature, and engaging in activities that don't rely on digital stimulation can help us restore our natural balance and improve our overall well-being. Section 4. The concentration crisis. One of the most significant consequences of digital overload, including excessive consumption of porn, is the erosion of our ability to concentrate. The constant distractions, notifications, and the lure of instant gratification from porn fragment our attention, making it challenging to focus on a single task for an extended period. Deep work, the ability to focus without distraction on a cognitively demanding task, is becoming increasingly rare and valuable. Yet, our addiction to instant gratification, especially through porn and masturbation, makes it harder than ever to achieve. We've become accustomed to switching between tasks rapidly, checking our phones every few minutes, and seeking constant stimulation, often through explicit content. This inability to focus has far-reaching consequences. It impacts our productivity, creativity, and our ability to learn and retain information. We become shallower thinkers, unable to engage in the deep, meaningful work that leads to true fulfillment. Section 5. Emotional numbness and false intimacy. The digital age has also created a sense of emotional numbness and false intimacy, especially through the consumption of porn and excessive masturbation. We engage with explicit content online, but these interactions are often superficial and fleeting. Pornography, while providing a temporary escape, can also fuel feelings of inadequacy and loneliness. We compare our lives to the unrealistic portrayals in porn, leading to envy, anxiety, and a distorted sense of reality. Furthermore, the constant pursuit of instant gratification through masturbation can numb us to our emotions. We turn to explicit content to escape boredom, loneliness, or discomfort, rather than facing these emotions head-on. This avoidance prevents us from developing emotional intelligence and forming genuine connections. Section 6. Reclaiming your power, the digital detox. The first step to rewiring your brain is to reclaim your power from the digital dopamine drip. This requires a conscious effort to reduce your exposure to overstimulating technology, especially porn and excessive masturbation. A digital detox, even for a short period, can be incredibly beneficial. Start by identifying the digital activities that trigger your dopamine cravings, particularly those related to porn consumption. Is it social media, online gaming, or constantly checking for new pornographic content? Once you've identified the culprits, set realistic limits on your usage. Consider scheduling specific times for checking social media or emails, and limit your exposure to pornographic content. Turn off notifications, put your phone on airplane mode, or use website blockers to create periods of distraction-free time, free from the temptation of porn. Section 7. Setting boundaries and finding healthy substitutes. Breaking free from the cycle of instant gratification, especially from porn and masturbation, requires setting healthy boundaries with technology and finding alternative activities that bring you joy and fulfillment. Instead of reaching for your phone or indulging in harmful habits first thing in the morning, try starting your day with a mindful activity like meditation, reading, or spending time in nature. Engage in hobbies that require focus and creativity, such as painting, writing, or playing a musical instrument. Make a conscious effort to connect with people in real life. Schedule coffee dates with friends, join a club or group activity, or simply have a conversation with someone you care about without distractions. Remember, technology and certain habits should enhance our lives, not control them. By setting boundaries and finding healthy substitutes, we can reclaim our time, focus, and emotional well-being.